Imagine a small food, almost invisible on the plate, that has conquered shelves around the world. Chia seeds, these tiny seeds that seem so innocent, have gained a reputation as a cure-all for weight loss, longevity, energy, and a healthy heart. Thousands of people, especially after the age of 60, have started adding a spoonful to their morning juice or yogurt before bed, believing they are taking a safe step toward vitality. But is this blind trust really justified? Or is there a risk that many people ignore, hidden beneath this brilliant reputation? In recent years, doctors and nutritionists have delved into the true science behind Chia. The results are fascinating but also alarming. Everything depends on how, when, and in what quantity they are consumed. For some, Chia has brought real benefits: better blood sugar control, prolonged satiety, and more stable cholesterol. For others, the side effects were so intense that they ended up in emergency rooms. And here's the shock: these aren't rare cases. Seniors in particular, who already deal with slower digestion, frequent medication use, and greater intestinal fragility, may be running unnecessary risks simply because they don't know the right details. This is the central point of this video. Today, you will discover the 5 biggest mistakes made with chia seeds, errors that can turn an ally into a silent enemy. We'll talk about situations that can compromise everything from the function of your intestines to the health of your heart and even your breathing. And this isn't an exaggeration. A simple slip-up, like ingesting a spoonful of dry chia, has already sent people to the emergency room with choking crises. And that's just the beginning. The goal here isn't to scare you or demonize the food, but to reveal the truth that few talk about. Chia seeds can be excellent, but they aren't harmless. You will learn how to identify these dangers, how to avoid each trap, and, most importantly, how to enjoy all the benefits without exposing your health to unnecessary risks. With each point, you'll get not only clear and translated scientific explanations but also practical tips you can apply in your daily life, starting today. And I'll leave you with a quick invitation: if this initial warning has already lit a light of caution in you, click like right now. This helps get this information to more people who, like you, seek to age with vitality and wisdom. After all, if a seed so small can carry such big risks, imagine how much we need to pay attention to the details. Get ready, because the first mistake may surprise you, and it might be happening in your own routine without you even realizing it. The history of chia seeds doesn't begin on Instagram or in the pages of health magazines. Long before becoming a trend, this tiny seed was already revered by ancient peoples, such as the Mayans and Aztecs, who used it as a source of energy and endurance for long journeys. The very name chia means strength. When modern science discovered that, in just a few grams, it concentrates fibers, proteins, antioxidants, and omega-3, the seed gained a place in laboratories and, soon after, on the tables of millions of people. And it's not hard to understand why. A spoonful of chia seeds contains more fiber than many fruits, proteins comparable to legumes, calcium equivalent to a glass of milk, and antioxidants that rival famous foods like berries. In addition, its plant-based omega-3 can help balance inflammation and protect the heart. It seems like a true miracle of nature, doesn't it? And that's exactly where the danger lies. When a food starts to be treated as a miracle, critical thinking is lost and exaggerations begin. In clinics, it's increasingly common to hear stories of people who believe they could solve all their health problems just by adding chia to their diet. As if it were a magical shield against high cholesterol, altered blood sugar, overweight, or even chronic diseases. But science doesn't work with miracles, it works with balance. Studies show that the benefits do exist, but always within a context: a healthy lifestyle, dietary variety, and adequate portions. Without that, the balance between benefit and risk quickly becomes unbalanced. And when we talk about people over 60, this imbalance can be costly. A body that already responds differently to digestion, that often deals with continuous medication use, and needs extra attention to nutrient absorption, cannot afford to make mistakes. Something small, like eating seeds without hydrating them or overdoing the quantity, can cause serious discomfort and even health complications. This is the true face of the myth: chia has power, but also limits. And ignoring these limits can lead to consequences far from what you expect when you seek more vitality and longevity. Now, if you're curious about what mistake number 1 is, get ready. It happens so commonly and unpretentiously that many people don't even realize the risk until it's too late. The scene seems innocent. You grab a spoonful of chia seeds and throw them directly into a glass of water, swallow them in a hurry, or mix them quickly into your juice without waiting for them to hydrate. After all, they're just tiny little seeds, right? Wrong. This is exactly where the first and perhaps most serious mistake that many people make lies. Chia seeds have the ability to absorb up to 12 times their own weight in liquid. When they come into contact with saliva and then with gastric juices, they swell and form a thick gel. This process is great when it happens inside a recipe because it increases the feeling of fullness and aids digestion. But if it happens inside the esophagus, it can be a nightmare. Real cases recorded in hospitals show that people, especially seniors, have needed emergency care due to an obstruction after consuming dry chia. Imagine swallowing a full spoonful of seeds, and a few seconds later, feeling that something is stuck in your throat. The seeds begin to expand, making it difficult for air and food to pass. In people with a slower swallowing reflex, which is common after age 60, the risk increases even more. This is not an exaggeration. There have been reports of patients who needed immediate medical intervention to avoid asphyxiation. And even when it doesn't get to that extreme, the discomfort can be intense. Heartburn, chest pain, a feeling of heaviness in the stomach, and even reflux can be linked to the incorrect consumption of chia. It's as if the body received a cork of fiber that is difficult to get past. For an already delicate body, this experience can be traumatic. The curious thing is that this danger doesn't come from an excess, but precisely from the method of consumption. Many people believe it's enough to just throw them into yogurt or swallow them with water. But chia seeds need time to hydrate and form the gel before being ingested. This ensures that they are already expanded, preventing risks and bringing all the benefits that people seek. The practical recommendation is simple: always let chia seeds rest in liquid for at least 20 minutes before consuming. This can be in a chia pudding, in overnight oats, in juice, or even mixed into yogurt in advance. This way, the gel will already be formed, ensuring safety and effectiveness. And here's the most important warning. Never consume dry chia seeds directly from the spoon. This practice may seem convenient, but it's an invitation to serious problems. Now, if that mistake sounds concerning, wait until you learn about the second one. Because, unlike the method of consumption, it involves quantity and shows how even a healthy food can become a burden for your body when the dosage is ignored. If the problem in the first mistake was the method of consumption, here the issue is the dosage. Many people believe that if a little chia is good, a lot will be even better. And it's exactly this way of thinking that leads many to suffer uncomfortable and even dangerous consequences. Chia seeds are extremely rich in fiber. Just 2 tablespoons provide almost everything you need for an entire day. And here is the detail that few people realize: when the body receives too much fiber, especially in people over 60, the effect can be the opposite of what is desired. The intestine, instead of working better, can get blocked. Gases, abdominal bloating, cramps, and even severe constipation can appear. This happens because fiber needs water to move through the digestive tract. If there isn't enough hydration, it hardens, forms plugs, and makes it difficult for things to pass. In seniors, who naturally have slower intestinal motility, this combination is especially critical. A discomfort that might only be temporary in a younger person can turn into days of painful constipation and greater risks, such as fissures or hemorrhoids. Another important point: too much fiber can interfere with the absorption of essential minerals, such as calcium, iron, and zinc. This means that overdoing the chia can, paradoxically, compromise bone health and immunity, which are precisely the things seniors most want to protect. In addition, studies show that when fiber intake far exceeds the daily recommendation, some medications may have their absorption reduced. For people who depend on continuous medications, this is a serious warning. But what is the right amount? The science is clear: 1 to 2 tablespoons of chia seeds per day are more than enough to enjoy all the benefits. It's not necessary to fill up your cup or put chia in every meal. A moderate, well-distributed dose, accompanied by liquids, already offers enough fiber, antioxidants, and omega-3 to support cardiovascular, digestive, and metabolic health. Think of chia seeds as a special seasoning, not as the base of a meal. They are that detail that enhances your diet, but they should never be the star in excess. Remember, more is not synonymous with better. especially when we're talking about nutrition after 60. And if quantity already brings hidden challenges, the next mistake is even more treacherous. It happens when chia starts to occupy a place it shouldn't, that of a substitute for other foods. And that's when your health can pay a high price for a lack of diversity. When a food gains a reputation as being superpowered, it's common for people to start seeing it as the one-stop solution to all their problems. This is what happens with chia. Many people believe that simply including a spoonful a day is enough to ensure a healthy heart, strong bones, a regulated gut, and even protection against chronic diseases. The consequence of this belief is dangerous. The diet becomes impoverished, and the plate loses the diversity that the body truly needs to stay strong. It's true that chia has fiber, plant-based protein, antioxidants, and omega-3. But alone, it doesn't offer all the essential nutrients. For example, although it brings calcium, its absorption is lower than that of milk or dark leafy greens. Even though it contains proteins, their quality doesn't compare to those of animal origin or to the combination of different legumes. And even if it offers good fats, it doesn't replace rich sources of marine omega-3, such as cold water fish. By trusting too much in a single food, you create a false sense of security. The body, however, still needs vitamins, minerals, and compounds that come from a variety of fruits, vegetables, legumes, whole grains, nuts, and lean proteins. Healthy longevity is not born from a single isolated ingredient, but from the harmony among many. Imagine, for example, someone who decides to stop consuming other grains because they believe that chia takes care of everything. This person may end up with deficiencies in magnesium, iron, or vitamin B12, which are not provided in sufficient quantities by chia. In seniors, these deficiencies appear quickly: more tiredness, impaired memory, and weakened bones. It's like trying to build a solid house using only bricks, without cement or wood. The result won't hold up. Another risk of this thinking is psychological. By believing in a miracle superfood, some people stop taking care of the basics: reducing sugars, controlling salt, maintaining physical activity, sleeping well, and hydrating. Chia seeds don't make up for sleepless nights, nor do they replace a colorful and varied meal. Therefore, the lesson is clear: chia is a valuable piece of the puzzle, but it should never occupy the entire board. The secret to longevity is in plurality. Each food has a function, and only together do they form the symphony of health. And speaking of a symphony, there is a note that can sound terribly off-key: chia's interactions with medications. This is a less discussed mistake, but it can have serious consequences, especially for those who depend on continuous medications. Few people imagine that something as small as a seed can have an impact on the action of potent medications. But that's exactly what can happen with chia. Anyone over 60 knows that, many times, medications are part of the daily routine: anticoagulants, blood pressure regulators, hypoglycemics, or even specific supplements. The issue is that chia, with all its benefits, also has effects that can add to or conflict with these treatments. A clear example is with anticoagulants. Chia seeds contain plant-based omega-3, a type of good fat that helps reduce inflammation and improve circulation. The problem is that this same effect can potentiate the action of anticoagulants, making the blood even thinner. This means a greater risk of bleeding, bruising, and even internal complications in more vulnerable people. For those who take a low-dose aspirin or medications like warfarin, this detail can become dangerous. Another point involves blood pressure control. Chia seeds can help discreetly lower pressure, which is great for people without problems. However, when combined with antihypertensive medications, it can lead to unexpected drops in pressure, causing dizziness, fainting, and increasing the risk of falls, something extremely delicate in old age. And there's also the impact on blood sugar control. Chia's fibers slow down the absorption of glucose, which can reduce blood sugar spikes. But, in those who already use medication for diabetes, this effect can add to the treatment and cause dangerous hypoglycemia. A simple feeling of unwellness or weakness can be mistaken for tiredness when in reality the body is crying out for glucose. Therefore, it's essential to understand that chia is not just a harmless little seed. Its nutritional power is real, but it interacts with the body in a complex way. For those who use continuous medications, regular consumption should always be discussed with a doctor or nutritionist. Often, it's not necessary to cut it out, but to adjust the dose, the timing, or even vary the sources of nutrients to maintain balance. This warning isn't meant to cause fear, but awareness. The great secret of health after 60 is precisely in uniting traditional knowledge, science, and professional guidance. It's not about excluding foods, but about learning to fit them into the right context. And if we've talked about the method of consumption, excess, and interaction so far, get ready, the next mistake is even more common and perhaps the most frustrating. It happens when chia is treated as an immediate solution, and this generates disappointments, false expectations, and often, giving up on truly healthy habits. We live in an era where everything seems to have to happen quickly. We want immediate results, instant solutions, and promises of almost magical transformation. That's why so many people end up placing exaggerated hope in chia. They believe that just a few days of consumption are enough to lose weight, lower cholesterol, control blood sugar, or gain plenty of energy. The reality, however, is quite different. The human body does not work like a light switch that turns on and off with a single food. The benefits of chia happen slowly, gradually, and depend on a set of factors. It can help, yes, but within a balanced routine, with hydration, physical activity, and other nutritious foods making up the diet. Expecting quick miracles is the shortest path to frustration. Many seniors have told me stories like this. They started using chia religiously every morning and, after a week, complained that they didn't feel anything. Others, believing in the miraculous power of the seeds, abandoned important habits like reducing sugars or taking walks because they thought chia would take care of everything. The result? Disappointment, lack of motivation, and even a worsening in their health tests. Science makes it clear, the positive effects of chia, such as improved lipid profile or blood sugar, appear in weeks or months of regular consumption, and always associated with a varied diet. There are no shortcuts. Haste only increases the chance of giving up. Worse still, when expectations are unrealistic, the person may even abandon the food entirely, throwing away an ally that could be valuable in the long term. Therefore, it's essential to adjust your mindset. Chia seeds are not a magic remedy, but they can be part of a solid strategy for aging with vitality. The secret is in consistency, balance, and patience. It's like planting a tree. You water it today, take care of it tomorrow, and only reap the fruits after some time. Now, I want to bring you into the conversation. Have you ever believed in a food or supplement that promised quick miracles? Share your experience in the comments. Your story can help other people see the importance of patience and balance on the journey to good health. After getting to know the mistakes and understanding what science has really proven, it's time for the practical part: how to use chia seeds in a safe and effective way. The first golden rule is simple. Always hydrate the seeds. This small detail makes all the difference. When chia seeds rest in liquid for a few minutes, they form that characteristic gel that ensures safe swallowing and also enhances their effects of satiety and digestion. One of the most common ways is to prepare the famous chia pudding. Just leave the seeds in milk or a plant-based drink for a few hours, add fruits, and you're ready, a healthy and nutritious snack. Another option is overnight oats, where chia seeds mix with oatmeal, yogurt, and fruits overnight in the refrigerator. In the morning, you have a complete breakfast that is much safer than simply throwing dry seeds onto your plate. For those who like juices, the tip is to prepare in advance, mix in the chia, wait at least 15 to 20 minutes, and only then consume. This ensures that it is already hydrated and ready to act in the body. In addition to hydration, there's another secret. Combine chia seeds with foods that enhance their nutrients. For example, fruits rich in vitamin C, such as strawberries, oranges, or kiwis, help improve the absorption of minerals like iron. Combinations with antioxidant fruits such as blueberries, purple grapes, or even plums create a powerful synergy against cellular aging. In this way, you transform a simple meal into a true longevity strategy. It's also important to remember the quantity. 1 to 2 tablespoons per day are enough. Distributing this consumption throughout the day can be even more interesting, as it helps keep the intestine active and avoids overloading a single meal. And of course, always accompanied by plenty of liquid. Without water, even the best source of fiber can become a problem. To vary your diet, you can sprinkle hydrated chia on salads, soups, or even in baked goods, such as breads and cakes. In this case, in addition to enriching the preparation, the seeds act as a partial substitute for eggs, since the gel works as a natural binder. It's a smart alternative for those who want to reduce animal products or simply want to make the recipe more functional. The key is to understand that chia is versatile but requires simple care. With hydration, balance, and smart combinations, it becomes a real ally for health after 60, without putting digestion, heart, or bones at risk. If it's clear by now that chia can be a valuable ally, it should also be evident that it should not be the sole focus of attention. Health doesn't depend on a single ingredient, but on diversity. And that's exactly where powerful alternatives that can complement or even surpass chia in certain aspects come in. A good example is flaxseed, often called chia's older sister. Just like chia, flaxseed also forms a gel when hydrated and is rich in soluble fiber. But it has an important difference: a greater quantity of lignans, compounds that act as phytoestrogens and can help with hormonal health, which is especially useful for postmenopausal women. In addition, it's also a source of plant-based omega-3 and can be used in recipes very similar to chia. Another alternative is pumpkin seeds, which are undervalued but extremely nutritious. They offer impressive quantities of magnesium, zinc, and iron, essential nutrients for strong bones, robust immunity, and daily energy. Magnesium, in particular, is fundamental for relaxing muscles and nerves, making it an ally against cramps and insomnia, common problems after 60. Walnuts also deserve to be highlighted. Rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids and antioxidants, there are solid studies linking their regular consumption to a reduced cardiovascular risk and improved brain function. For those who seek to protect their memory and heart at the same time, few options are as complete. Almonds are a powerful source of calcium, vitamin E, and healthy fats. They are convenient, delicious, and can be included as snacks, in homemade granolas, or even in savory recipes. Finally, sunflower seeds offer selenium, an essential mineral for the body's antioxidant defenses and for thyroid health. The point is simple: to vary is to multiply benefits. Each seed or nut brings its own signature of nutrients, and when you combine them, your body thanks you. This reduces the risk of nutritional deficiencies, enhances health, and makes eating much more enjoyable. Now, think of someone you know who puts chia in everything, from their coffee to their dinner. How about sharing this video with that person? Perhaps this is the warning they need to discover a world of possibilities beyond chia. Sometimes, sharing knowledge is as valuable as adopting the habit itself. It's time to turn all this knowledge into simple, easy-to-apply actions adapted especially for people over 60. After all, it's not enough to know what to avoid, you also need to be clear about how to act in a practical, safe, and enjoyable way. The first point is to always hydrate the seeds. Never consume dry chia or flaxseed directly. Leave them in contact with liquids for at least 20 minutes before ingesting. This prevents choking and ensures that the protective gel is formed, which helps with digestion. This simple rule alone prevents a good portion of the problems reported in clinics. The second adjustment is to respect the quantity limits. 1 or 2 tablespoons per day are enough. Excess doesn't increase benefits, it only raises the risks of intestinal discomfort and interferes with nutrient absorption. Remember, balance is the keyword for longevity. The third point is to vary the sources of seeds and nuts. Alternate between chia, flaxseed, pumpkin seeds, walnuts, almonds, and sunflower seeds. This way, you ensure a much more complete spectrum of nutrients, strengthen bones, the heart, and the brain, and also make your diet more enjoyable and less repetitive. Another important adjustment is to pay attention to smart combinations. Mixing chia with fruits rich in vitamin C helps with mineral absorption. Using nuts with dark green vegetables enhances calcium. Varying your snacks with almonds or pumpkin seeds maintains energy and satiety throughout the day. These choices don't require big changes, but they multiply the results. It is also essential to consult your doctor or nutritionist before including chia regularly if you use continuous medications. Adjusting timings or dosages may be enough to avoid dangerous interactions without having to give up the benefits. Individualization makes all the difference, especially after 60. Finally, don't forget overall body hydration. fiber only works well when accompanied by water. Therefore, maintain a goal of at least 1.5 to 2 liters of liquids throughout the day, preferring water, natural teas, and light soups. This practice, combined with the moderate consumption of seeds, can transform the way your intestine, heart, and even your mind respond. These small adjustments may seem simple, but they have a profound impact. What differentiates those who age with vitality from those who accumulate problems is not grand gestures, but consistency and smart choices. And it is precisely this that leads to the next point, the conclusion of this journey, with a reflection that ties everything we've seen together. We have reached the end of this journey, and now you know, Chia is not a villain, but it's not a miracle either. Along the way, we've seen how it gained worldwide fame, discovered the 5 most dangerous mistakes made with this seed, and understood how to avoid them. From the risk of choking to the excess of fiber, from interactions with medications to false expectations, it has become clear that even the most celebrated food can become a trap when used in the wrong way. But we also learned the other side. Science confirms important benefits, such as helping with cholesterol, blood sugar control, satiety, and protection against inflammation. Benefits that make a real difference in the lives of those over 60 who seek quality of life, energy, and vitality. But these results only appear when there is balance, patience, and variety. The summary is simple but powerful. Hydrate, moderate, vary, and respect your own body. For steps that seem small but can completely transform the way you use not only chia but any functional food. After all, health is not built with fads but with consistent choices, repeated day after day. That's why I like to say that longevity is not in one seed, but in the wisdom of combining them. Each food brings a unique note, but it is the complete orchestra that creates the melody of vitality. When you understand that, every meal stops being just food and becomes an investment in your future. So, when you look at a simple spoonful of chia, remember, it's not about the size of the seed, but about how it fits into the whole. And the whole is made of balance, consciousness, and practice. That's the true strength of those who want to age with health and independence. If this content made sense to you, if it brought you clarity and motivation, I invite you to subscribe to the channel right now. Here, every video is designed to translate science into simple language, bring practical tips, and reveal how foods can be medicine in your daily life. Together, we will build a community of people 60+ who choose to live longer and better, with quality information and a positive attitude. Because in the end, it's not about avoiding one seed or another. It's about cultivating the most powerful seed of all: daily wisdom.